Okay, hi. I have to talk about college, and so here goes nothing. I've ordered some like stuff, you know, but whatever. Not ordered. I've like looked at some stuff. Oh, here comes the QB. Hi. So I keep seeing these articles. No, my desk. You can't be playing with my desk. Come here. Wee. Hello. Okay. So, college. College is like such a cool thing to go do if you have something really specific that you like want to share with the world. Okay, so like I think for every kid there's like a sweet spot in your life where you're like, ooh, I really see myself doing this or that. Like I'm good, I have these, skills, and I have these interests, and they kind of overlap with this skill set that could lead to me being able to make money doing something that I like. So for some people that's like archaeology, and being outside, so if you're like a hiker, archaeology ends up being like a natural progression of your interests because you get to be, outside and make money excavating sites. Okay, win-win. So to me it seems like Gen Z are all artists, which is a really great thing, and it's also a bad thing, because art is really hard. I totally understand why my mom kind of wanted to steer me into something else when I was younger, because it's all just based on looks. It's like very, very superficial. So even if you are really into your looks, that's part of aging. Your looks will change, whether or not you choose to do plastic surgery or become like an exercise person. Like there's only so many paths you can take if you're like a performance artist, where like your face has to remain your moneymaker for the rest of your life. So yeah, like, and I'm not sure if I had to categorize Gen Z, it seems like I'd say half of them are like performance artists, which you could end up getting a job, doing the news and journalism in some capacity. YouTube, I think, can be a viable thing if people are self-directed, and a lot of people aren't. You can learn to be that way, but it can be hard to be that way when you're young, especially because I think most young people are really caught up in what other people think. They think they're not. They think they're like doing their own thing, but they're like, with how much time people spend online, like clearly they're like, oh wait, am I doing the right thing? Do I look okay? Like, what's going on? I'm seeing that employers are wanting to offer about $15 an hour, and people thinking that's some crazy thing. I've been lucky to get $15 an hour in jobs outside of my skill set, if that makes sense. So within my skill set, I make a lot of money. But if I'm learning a new skill, doing something that I don't have experience in, of course I'm not going to expect, making this crazy wage, because I have no experience. Like, that's, you're working outside your field. So say you got a degree in like foreign languages and you're trying to get a job, in telecommunications, being, like a branch manager for someone, you're like kind of outside your wheelhouse, if you will. So I don't know, like, while you are experienced in one field, if you're applying to a job not within your field, you can't expect like the wage that you would get. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of kids didn't work through college, so they have no work experience at all, which from an employer's perspective, they're like, uh-oh, nightmare, no thank you, we're not teaching you how to do everything, and then having to pay you a lot of money. That doesn't make any sense. Because if we have to train you, then you're not, it just like goes into like one of two categories. Either like you're an employee that needs training or an employee that doesn't. And if you are in your early 20s, and as I just said, you have a college degree but no work experience, any employer is going to be like, I don't know. Especially if, like, yeah, I don't know how this is a hard concept for kids to understand. If you have a degree in like applied sciences and you're trying to get a job in that field, but you have no work history, they're like, oh my God, this kid's gonna like just bomb out and like not know what they're doing, and everyone's gonna have to train them. Like, so you have to have those experiences working in Starbucks, working in McDonald's, working at Subway, working at coffee houses, working at wherever, so that you know how hard it is to train even one new person. When you have one new person, everyone kind of has to help them. It's not as if it's just like, okay, you're up and running. You have to learn how things are done. And I think that like Gen Z has this assumption that they're already experts, and whether they have their formalized education or not, that is just something extra. All of your training is on the job, no matter what. And most of the time, your employer doesn't care about your past experiences. They want you to have good ones, but they don't want to hear about, well, at so-and-so it was like this, and at such and such it was like that. They're like, well, you're not there. Like, go back there. Like, this, I'm teaching you something. So I think I can totally understand from both perspectives, honestly, more so from the employers, because I've worked with so many people that have college degrees, and they are really hard to work with for the reasons that I just listed. They never had a degree, or they never had an after-school job or anything like that. And while their parents might have felt like, they were really helping you focus on school, you're not like benefiting your employer in any way. They see you as like a liability because they have to train you to do everything. And you want this like crazy high wage, which is just like, that just doesn't make sense to me. You have to know where you are, and be like, okay, what am I worth? What can I actually get? And in which jobs should I try to apply for? So like, if you have like just an English degree, obviously you should be working in a public school setting. I'm not sure like what kind of jobs people are thinking that they're gonna get. At some point in your life, you will have a really awesome job that you love, but you'll probably be like 50 years old. So like, I've noticed this a lot with Gen Z, like the people that they're comparing themselves to are not other people that are their same age or even close to their same age. They're trying to act like they're already retired. And it's like, bro, you haven't even started working yet. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, like, I think people have looked at me like I haven't worked much, but like when you work the weekends, that was a choice that I made in high school. You start noticing that there's different kinds of people. There's daytime people and there's nighttime people. And what kind of person do you want to be? Which group can you see yourself fitting in? And people that do daytime stuff are so intense, And when you start meeting nighttime people, they're way more relaxed. And granted, a lot of them drink. There's just a lot of other things that go along with, AM, PM people, if you will. So I think a lot of Gen Z hasn't determined which one they are. I think most of them are PM people. I think most of them are artists. I think most of them want to be in front of the camera, but they are unwilling to do everything that comes along with it. Like, you can't be ugly and on camera. Like, anyone that you see on TV, they spend hours in makeup, and then when they're done with their job, I mean, like, so say you really are, you're that half of Gen Z that's like, you know what, I really do want to be a news anchor. I really do. I want that life. You are going to get up at 1 a.m. and you will be in makeup until 3 a.m. and then you will start shooting at 3:30 a.m. So like your whole these are really hard schedules to do for a long time. You understand? So these people are very protective, and they're not going to just let any little whiny anyone in because they think that they, paid for their degree and they should be able to start telling other people how to do their job. And that's just like, I totally understand. So like, if that's a field that you really see yourself in, any of these YouTube people, that involves you having to really, it's all about the moneymaker. You got to focus on your face. So there's that. And I think most of your parents probably don't want you to do that because there will be surgeries. There will be things that you will do to change it. You'll have gum removal surgery. Some of you have like really gummy smiles. And if you want to be in front of the camera, that's just not a thing. And I know this from, just to give you the reference, beauty pageants, that's a thing. I never did them, but I had friends that did. And, so there's so many things that people want to see when you're in front of a camera. And if you're not giving them that, like, you're limiting your scope of success for the whole world, like if you are, okay. So anyway, so then I need to finish addressing this issue of Gen Z having, most of them wanting to be artists. Some of you could be dancers, some of you could be writers, some of you could be, behind the camera. There's so many ways for you to be part of the art world without having to be in front of the camera. But I think most of you have like these weird art degrees, and then it seems like maybe you're applying for jobs, again, like outside of your skill set, or if they are within your skill set, if for whatever chance you have an opportunity to work with a film company, you want to get paid a lot of money, and that's like not how the industry works. You're trying to save as much money as possible for the film, for the project, for the record, for the whatever. And if you blow a ton of money on some brand new person, like that might not be like a net benefit to everyone. Like you're just not, you don't have money to blow like that. And Gen Z seems to just like to blow money on things. So I think, all of these different things kind of rolled into one have made it somewhat difficult for them to find good employment opportunities, because you have to just be willing to take what you might see as a pay cut, because you see yourself, you have high self-worth, that's great. Your employer doesn't know you, and they're trusting you to make money for them, to help them make a profit. They're going to pay you a fair wage, but they need to benefit from the situation too. And I think too often, it just seems like a lot of Gen Z has this, like, they're just counting other people's pockets. So, like, they can't just show up to their job and be like, okay, I'm learning how to do this thing, and I'm really grateful to be part of this group that I probably wouldn't have access to if I didn't have, a little humility. I don't know what the solution is for Gen Z aside from them to like just pull their head out of their asses. And it seems like they really like having their heads up their own butts, and thinking all these great things about themselves and being like, oh, you need to do this, society needs to do this. And it's like, well, what about you? What have you done? You just fucking got here. Like, what revolutionary idea have you brought to us? Like, what are you contributing? What's your contribution to life? So yeah, I just see a lot of people like sitting around trying to like just chat it up, um, and like read scripts in their room, and like that's cool and all, but like if you really like making movies, like go fucking make a movie, you know, like just sitting in your own house, most boring movie you ever saw in your whole life. So yeah, uh yeah, I see a lot of filmmakers go make that film, you know, if you really love being in front of a camera, be on the news, you know, be on your local you know, your local news, you know, start small and then, you know, work out from there. Sometimes you'll find a place where, okay, I'm good here, I want to be here. And yeah, it seems like so many of you are like just not even trying to pursue your interests, and then not willing to like learn. And I know it sucks in your 20s. You feel like you're just like always in this constant cycle of learning, improving yourself. You kind of just have to like let it zen out, because before you know it, you will be like 27 and it'll feel different, you know, but you just have to keep working through it. Like, you know, I think a lot of Gen Z, if I could describe your energy, it's like all, you know, trying to stay like this, but it's all just wiggly. And I think that, you know, that's fine. I think that's what that perfectly describes being in your 20s. You're just kind of like, okay, I got it. Okay, maybe I don't. Okay, maybe but you have to like, you're not 50 years old yet, you know what I'm saying? So like, you're not gonna have like the super bitchin' knife set and the everything perfect in your life yet, because you're still figuring out what you like. Other people can tell you what they like, but that's not the same as you trying things and being like, oh, I really prefer this over this, and I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't skip that self-exploration period. Like, it seems like so many of you are just like rushing into like what you think being an adult is, and for those of us that are a little older, like, it seems like you're not even trying to have any fun at all anymore. You're just trying to be an adult. Like, my generation, we were not that way at all. Like, people were like, you guys were too immature, because we were just always fucking around having fun. And like, I think that's a great thing. That's because we were working so hard in our free time. So then when we did want to go do something, like, let's go ride dirt bikes, let's go climb, let's go do something super awesome, because we had all this energy that we needed to get out. You guys you just spend your energy to relax every day and like treat yourself every day. And like, I don't know, like, I get it, but I don't. Like, you're not a baby anymore. You're in your 20s. So like, that period of, you know, everything, oh, shh, don't wake the baby's sleeping. That period is over. So, I've noticed that Gen Z will be a lot more lenient with like other people in Gen Z than they will ever be with anyone else. You know, they'll extend all these like, oh my gosh, how could you say that about her? But then if the person is over a certain age, it's like, oh, so they're clearly dealing with some very weird internalized issues about aging, and I'm just gonna hope that works its way out on its own. But yeah, I don't know. They're overcomplicating it. It's really like such a simple solution. Like, just take the job, just work at the job, just take whatever pay they will give you so that you can actually get in the door, and then you'll probably quit after 2 weeks anyway. So, because it'll be too hard, or they're so mean, or whatever. And so like, you guys have to try to do something different. I think it's at this point where it's like, okay, like, how much longer is this little kid phase gonna last? Because like, my generation did not do that. Like, I can't stress that enough. None of us, there were a few of us that were like still living at home and driving mom's car and, you know, being weird. But most people in my class and as millennials as a whole, they bailed out of town as fast as they could. They bought a house, they got a job, they moved across. Like, they all went off and did really big things, and they're still doing those fucking cool ass things. So I would rather be like my generation, you know, because we like sat, we formulated a plan, we executed the plan, and we liked the plan. And if we didn't, we like dealt with it until we could come up with something better. But you guys don't seem to have that follow through. Like Gen X is just very like bing, bang, boom. This is what you got to do. Put your head down, go to work. You might not love this job. It's not going to be the only job you have for the rest of your life. It's like, you know, don't make it a bigger deal than it is. But you guys seem like you will make a big deal out of anything and everything, and obsess about things that you can't change, and not do anything about the things that you can. Anyway,